Alrighty, so next up we have the NL East, and this is most definitely the best division in baseball that we will be talking about next, which is the NL East. I believe I just said that. So to my surprise, pretty much every MLB website, MLB Journal has really been sleeping on the Braves. I have them in first place. I don't know why no one would not put them in first place. It's really mind-boggling to me that you wouldn't put them in first place. I mean, let's look at their team. I mean, basically, you look at them last year. I mean, they finished first place without Soroka, without I don't know who, but now you have Soroka back. You add Charlie Morton to the mix, and they re-signed Ozuna. I don't know why you wouldn't put them in first place. Like, that makes absolutely no sense to me. Like, they made it to the World Series without Mike Soroka or Charlie Morton. Now they have both of them, and I think Drew Smyly, who's a good addition to their bullpen. They did lose Melanson. Why would you not put them in first place? To me, that's mind-boggling, especially since the Mets choke like every year. Sorry, Mets fans. I humiliated myself on this podcast last year by putting the Mets as a wild card team. They consistently are overhyped. Maybe they'll be good this year. I don't know. But we're here to talk about the Braves. And talking about the Braves, we got to talk about their awesome lineup, which they have Acuna, offensive machine with Acuna, Freeman, Ozuna, Travis d'Arnaud, Ozzie Albies, Dansby Swanson, Austin Riley, Kristen Pache, and Nick Markakis retired. They have Inciarte on the bench, and maybe another young rookie we could see call up. Really just a great lineup that's going to score so many runs, and it's just unmatched in the NL East. There's nothing close that comes to that. Then they have, in my eyes, probably a top 5 rotation for sure that is 100% better than the Mets. They've got Soroka, Max Fried, Charlie Morton, Ian Anderson, Kyle Wright. I might be missing somebody. I think that's their rotation. Cole Hamels, I don't know. Maybe he'll be okay for them. Overall, though, that's a great rotation. I mean, you've got Soroka, Fried, Ian Anderson, Morton, Kyle Wright, Cole Hamels. I mean, that's a great group of starters you got there. Then their bullpen is still pretty strong, as they have Will Smith, Drew Smyly, AJ Minter, and someone else that I'm forgetting, and I'm not in the baseball mindset too. Something Martin, like Sam Martin, Chris Martin, something like that. Very good bullpen nonetheless. And I think the Braves will no doubt win this division, and I have no idea why. Every MLB prediction has them finishing second or 82 and 80. I mean, I think that's laughable. So moving on next, we have the Mets. Look, here's what I'll say. I mean, I'm going to address the elephant in the room. Everyone always predicts them to be good. If you follow baseball, everyone always says the Mets are going to be better than they actually are, and they usually wind up falling flat on their face. Sorry, that's the reality of it. I'm just going to say it. I hate to be rude, but that's the reality. The Mets are always projected higher than they are, and most of their guys underperform. What I'm talking about is mainly their rotation. Syndergaard usually gets injured. Marcus Stroman doesn't pitch as well as we think he does. Steven Matz never breaks out and plays well. Who else am I thinking of? DeGrom is obviously the best pitcher on earth. I don't know if there's someone else I'm thinking of. But Anyways, the Mets really improved their team nonetheless, and you can't deny that. They're a lot better this year, and mainly they took great steps to improve their starting rotation. So they got DeGrom, they brought back Stroman, they brought back Taijuan Walker, they brought in Taijuan Walker. I love getting Joey Lucchesi from the Padres. I think that's great. He's a great 5-starter. David Peterson, also a great back-end starting guy. Then they'll have Syndergaard and Carlos Carrasco. So that's 7 really good starters. I didn't even think Taijuan Walker was necessary, but they're being extra careful by having him as another depth guy. And I guess they're doing that partly because they want to pace Stroman, Peterson, maybe even DeGrom, those younger guys, so that they can preserve arms. But they have 7 really good starters. And I don't know when we'll see Syndergaard, but nonetheless, that's pretty good. Then their lineup is pretty good. You got Nimmo, Lindor, the Polar Bear, Pete, Alonso, McNeil, Conforto, Dom Smith, J.D. Davis, James McCann. I mean, that's a really solid lineup, and those are all guys that can perform. That's not the produce. That's what I meant. And are solid. Then their bullpen is really good. No denying that. You've got Trevor May, Edwin Diaz, Betances. There's someone else that I'm thinking of that I can't remember. Rob Gisellman, I guess, is okay. There's another name I'm missing there that's pretty good. So overall, they have a pretty good team. I don't really know how I can see them losing games. Maybe, I guess, their bullpen is a little unstable. But I think it's pretty... Oh, Seth Lugo is really good, too. So they have talking about their team, it's pretty good. I mean, all around, they have a solid lineup that's really deep. Their starting pitching is good, but it's not as good as the Braves, and it's very deep, though, and it's deeper than the Braves. So it's not as good as the Braves, but it's deep. Obviously, you have DeGrom, best pitcher on earth. But after that, I don't think Marcus Stroman is the number 2 starter. I don't think he's that good. I don't. And some people will agree with me on that, and some people won't. I don't think Marcus Stroman is like a number 2 pitcher on a World Series team. He's not on that like Strasburg, Garrett Cole. I'm talking about the past World Series winners. Walker Buehler. Who's the Red Sox second starter of that series? I think it was David Price, maybe David Price. Yeah, David Price. That type of level. And I know you're gonna say, oh well, David Price, he wasn't. He was incredible in the playoffs. I can't see him going on that type of tear. That those number 2 starters did that helped their teams win so much, right? Like Strasburg was crazy for the Nats. Garrett Cole was insane. And they backed up their number 1s really well. Like Strasburg backed up Scherzer really well. Cole backed up Verlander really well. Buehler backed up Kershaw really well. And Price did the same for Sale. I don't see Stroman on that level. Maybe Syndergaard can do it, but he's got to stay healthy. I mean, he gets injured every year. And he definitely has crazy stuff. I mean, when I saw him in his rookie year, I was like, this is one of the nastiest pitchers I've ever seen. But the good thing is they have consistency. They're going to compete. They're going to be good this year. But I just don't think they're good enough to beat the Braves, in my opinion. I think the Braves lineup is slightly better. But nonetheless, I think they're pretty much a lock for a wild card spot. And part of the reason I think that is going into the next team. In third place, I have the Nats. And this is a pretty weak Nats team, in my honest opinion. You have your 3-headed monster coming back with Scherzer, Corbin, Strasburg, which is just a nasty 1-2-3 combo. I mean, that's really good. And then you got Lester as your 4, Joe Ross. Who's that other? Austin Voth. I guess he'll be another guy they look to. Waiting to see Mason Denneberg, and I don't think we'll see Cade Cavalli. But waiting to see those guys from the minor leagues. And then their lineup is like pretty... It's not as strong as usual. That's how I would describe it. Usually you have just more of a dynamic lineup from the Nats, and they don't really have that this year. I don't know who's going to hit leadoff for them. I think it's going to be Robles. Then you got Trey Turner, Soto, Bell, Castro, Jan Gomes, Schwarber. I didn't like the Schwarber acquisition. He just doesn't. He didn't have a good season last year. I don't know if he's really if he's a quality everyday player. There's a difference between a quality everyday player and a good everyday player and an everyday player. Just would like to see, like, from the Nats, like, another bat in the lineup that's electric. I mean, obviously you have Soto, who's like probably a top 5 position player. And then you have Turner. But besides for that, like, I guess Bell will be pretty good. But, like, Robles as a leadoff hitter is a little weak, in my opinion. Castro, I guess, is decent. They just don't have, like... I just wish they had, like, another, like, really good bat, I guess. That would make them a lot better. Like, if they got LeMahieu or, like... I don't know, just, like... Or like Grandal or, I don't know, McCann. Like, they just need, like, another really good bat to make them, like contend with the Mets and the Braves. Their bullpen's really good. They have Hudson, who I like. They got Brad Hand. They have who's good in their bullpen? God, I can't remember the Nats bullpen. This is so annoying. Nats bullpen. Sorry, I gotta look this up real quick. I'm sorry. I just gotta give my honest review of the Nats bullpen. Hudson. Oh, Will Harris is decent. Wander Suero, I think, is okay. And then besides for that, it's pretty much a big drop off. But Brad Hand's gonna help them out a lot. I really like that. And yeah, that's why they have them in third. Kind of a bold prediction because I think a lot of people would have the Phillies in third based on what they did in the offseason. And I can see that. I have the Phillies in 4th place behind the Nats, but I could totally agree with you if you have the Phillies third. Phillies have a good team. They really do, just looking at it top to bottom. You have 2 really good starters with Nola and Wheeler. I think Wheeler's absolutely nasty, and I think he's a number 1 starter as well. But you have 2 really good guys. Then it's a huge drop-off. You have Eflin, Matt Moore. I like Chase Anderson. I like the acquisition. Velasquez, which overall is really top-heavy, and then a big drop-off, 3 through 6. But their lineup is really good. You have Real Muto, McCutchen, Harper, Hoskins, Alec Boehm, Segura, Didi Gregorius, Adam Hazley, Kingery. I mean, that's a really, really good lineup. And that, that's just a great lineup. I mean, they're going to score a lot of runs. There's really no weak spot there. And it's just a collection of a lot of solid bats. And I think Alec Boehm could really be one of, like, a top 10 position player. I mean, he can just rake. He is such a good hitter. I think he's going to have a huge season this year and really break out. I mean, he is a really, really good player. So when you couple him with Real Muto and Harper, and then you have Segura, Didi, McCutchen, that's really dangerous. I mean, you're going to score a lot of runs. And then the Phillies bullpen, really liked what they did with their bullpen. They added Archie Bradley, Alvarado, Kinsler, just a bunch of, like, pretty decent bullpen arms. That's going to help them out. And then Hector Neris is their closer. Hopefully he can kind of turn things around, but still have a really good bullpen. And I really liked what they did with it, which is why I think it's going to be really close between them and the Nats. Honestly, like, thinking about it, I might have the Phillies third, but it's going to be really close, and the Phillies are going to be a good team. So that's that on the Phillies. Also, maybe a potential wildcard team. Next up, in 5th place, I have the Marlins. Marlins are a good team. They're just in the best division in baseball, and they're going in the right direction. They have a lot of young guys, but they also like the acquisitions they got. I like that they re-signed Marte. So their lineup, they got Marte, Aguilar, Corey Dickerson, Chisholm, Rojas, Brian Anderson, Garrett Cooper, Adam Duvall, great acquisition, Jorge Alfaro, good piece. And then their rotation is, I like their rotation. They got Alcantara, Sixto Sanchez, one of the nastiest pitchers in baseball, Pablo Lopez, Eliezer Hernandez, and Trevor Rogers are their last two starters, who I don't really know. So a little weak on the back end there. Would have liked to have seen them get like a veteran 5. And then their bullpen is pretty good. I mean, they signed Anthony Bass, and they got John Curtis from the Rays. Wow, I didn't know that the Rays traded John Curtis. That's crazy. Wow, he's very good, and the Rays traded him. Wow. Yeah, John Curtis was great for the Rays last year, and they traded him. They also have Dylan Floro, who they got from the Dodgers, and Adam Kimber, who was on the Indians. So good, really good bullpen that I like a lot. And so this is a well-rounded team. I have them in 5th because their lineup's pretty weak, and their rotation is really front heavy. Besides for that, we might see Braxton Garrett too, but besides for the 3 with Alcantara, Lopez, and Sixto, it's not that great of a rotation. And then their lineup's pretty good, but you still have question marks with like Rojas. Chisholm has never like produced offensively that much. It's pretty good, but there aren't any like studs really in their lineup. So that's why they have them in 5th. And that's it for the NL East. So I will be back with the NL West next.